Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. So later on tonight, I will probably do a video on the Marvel panel at Comic-Con after all that information comes out. They're not supposed to go on until I think 8 o'clock my time, but uh, either that or I'll do it early the next morning. But there was something, excuse me, there was something that I saw uh, with the Terminator Dark Fate panel that I wanted to specifically make a video on, and it's something that Linda Hamilton said. And this was an interview with ET Canada, of all random interviewers. Um, and she said possibly one of the smartest things I've heard in a very, very long time. Now, at least, especially from coming from Hollywood people. So here's the thing. So the Dark Fate panel gets out. She's in this interview, and then basically the interviewer is talking to her about some stuff. She goes over a few things about like what it was like to work on the film, and what it's like to work with Arnold again, and some stuff. But the second half of the video is really where this point shines through a lot, and this goes along the same lines as the video I made before on Sylvester Stallone, the interview that he did at Cannes for Rambo 5. So the second half is the interviewer asks about the claims that James Cameron made around the time that Wonder Woman came out, saying that I made strong female characters in the '90s with Sarah Connor, and kind of she's kind of the original. And really, you could make the case of stuff like Sarah Connor and the Ripley character from Aliens, among others. And Linda Hamilton is one of those people. Again, we're talking about old school Hollywood people that were around and making movies back in the '60s and the '70s and the '80s and the '90s. People that understood how characters were supposed to shine through and how characters were supposed to be portrayed as opposed to what it is now. And she basically goes over this scene that James Cameron wanted her to shoot in Terminator 2, where when she escapes from the mental hospital, he wanted her to cut her hair off. And Linda Hamilton fought it tooth and nail. And she says, no, how's about if I just put it back in a ponytail and a bunch of stuff? And that transitions into another point that she makes about why Sarah Connor was able to, especially in Terminator 2, was able to kind of reach audiences and become that strong female character that Cameron sees her as, and a lot of people see her as. And that point is that she said, and this is a great point, is that she reached audiences in a very feminine way, and that is then immediately followed up with her saying, "I don't understand why women think that." In order to be strong female characters, they have to look and act like men. And it is 100% right. She gets it. She got it back then. She still gets it now. She is not a person who has had her mind warped um, by these by the whole modern feminism movement and stuff like that. She understands good filmmaking, and she understands how good filmmaking works and how characters are developed over films, and how those characters reach audiences. And she understands what people liked about Sarah Connor. What they always liked about Sarah Connor was this one woman against the world, but she was still very much a woman. A lot of what you see in Terminator 1 and 2 has to do with love and compassion, and especially in Terminator 2 with motherhood, with with John Connor, and that motherly protecting nature that she had. When you look at her in Terminator 2, a lot of it seems to be the point of. She's like that mother animal that's backed into a corner protecting her young. That's really what she feels like, especially in the latter half of that movie. Is that she's not just fighting for the world, she's fighting for John. And that is the epitome of a strong female character, a female that is willing to fight off everything, all odds. The world is against you, society is against you, everything is against you, but you're going to protect that one thing that matters the most to you. And again, Linda Hamilton proves that she gets that. She is a smart woman. She knows exactly what Sarah Connor is as a character because she's inhabited that role for so long. And honestly, seeing her come back to it is most of the reason why I think that this film could work. Now, again, there's still a lot of issues with the movie that we perceive. That doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to be the same when the film is coming up. It also has been recently announced that the film is going into a second round of reshoots, most notably including Eddie Furlong, who has been stated to come back as John Connor. So that was just something I wanted to cover, and yeah, I like to do these things. I like to do these little videos like this when it comes to certain actors and directors and stuff like that. A lot of old school people in Hollywood because they come from an era where film was so much better than what it is now. It was so much more original. They were still experimenting with things. They weren't making sequel after sequel or reboot after reboot or rip-offs and stuff like that. They were doing original work. And Linda Hamilton was at the spearhead of a lot of that with the Terminator franchise. So that's just something I wanted to say on that. And again, hats off to Linda Hamilton. She's still a class act and still just as good as she's ever been. So again, I'd like to know what your opinion is on this. Do you agree with her or not? Do you like the Terminator films? Are you excited to see Linda Hamilton back? Put your thoughts in the comments. I will link the video below. The second half, it's only a 4.5 minute video, but really, if you look at it from the 2 minute point on, is when you'll see the segment that I was talking about. So if you want to go and watch that, it'll be linked. Hit the bell for notifications, hit the like button, subscribe, and remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?